Morphternoon folks, Mark here, and welcome to the sofa. Nostalgia trip this time. I've been playing Hero Quest on webcam, and there's a problem. It's hard to tell which hero is which, even with coloured dots on their bases. Could you tell that the Barbarian was, in fact, the elf? Need to fix that. So, why not join me at the painting table, and let's get started. The top-down view of the board meant I could try to dabble in chiaroscuro, basically ramping up the contrast between light and dark to accentuate shapes. But first, being board game pieces, they needed a little TLC. The softer plastic is annoying to clean up, but it had to be done. Rather than scraping it, slicing and filing were the order of the day. Occasionally, the pre-assembled pieces needed to come off temporarily so I could get to other parts. I also sliced them off their bases because I'd sort those out later. Followed, of course, by gap filling. The old hot water trick solved any warps in the model. In the Barbarian's case, his sword looked pretty ragged. I replaced that with a plasticard version that wouldn't be so floppy and rough. Then I went for a black undercoat, followed by a zenithal white, which defined the only places I'd put colour. Right on top where the webcam could see it. For the Barbarian, I tried for a tanned bronze flesh. As a change of pace, this time I forgot to paint the feet initially. Sticking with classic colours, I added blue cloth and cream fur. And tinted the feet so they actually matched the rest of him. Followed by reddish leather. Copper finished out most of the details. Then a steel sword. I painted the runes back in to copy the original, then finished the highlights with white. That way, they shine regardless of the angle. His hair would be black, but as an experiment, I used brown and blue as the initial colours. That got highlights of cream grey and reshaded with black until I was happy enough and moved on to the wizard. Not much visible flesh there. And, of course, he had to have a yellow tunic, didn't he? Still, the red moon went over it easily. And with his green-blue underclothes, he was becoming a colourful boy. The blue-purple cloak didn't tone it down any. While I was painting his boots and staff, I wasn't really liking him. Looking back, I think the problem was that the light isn't really catching much of him. He's so much less shapy than the Barbarian. Gave him a gingerish mop of hair though. And then finished off with gold work. That should make him stand out from the others. Speaking of shapy, it's dwarfing time. Not much flesh, but I went with more ruddy face colours. And yes, I did skip the wet palette for him. Too much metal, couldn't be bothered. Brown hair would help keep him distinct, in case all the metals didn't. Which is what comes next. Most of the dwarf is going to be iron. Layer up, finish with white, you know the drill. Added the various bits of leather in quickly, along with the wooden handle. Then back to metals, only brass. Gold-ish. Just to break up the mass of grey. Three down, time ticking by, so let's get distracted by basing. Some of them were pretty warped, which is easily dealt with. The Barbarian had a tactical rock, which... no. Instead, I used some instant mould stuff to make a copy of a skeleton skull. The bases themselves got square-ish rock tiles sculpted on to match the board. Then I could drill holes for the footpins, clean up the skull and drill that, and get painting. I primed them by hand to keep the red rims visible. Thought it would be cute. Then used a dark blue wash and some tan dry brushing to get an interesting tone. Sharpened up the highlights and shadows to match the model style more. and stuck things together. Last hero in the campaign, the Rogue. I didn't want grey or black because he'd blend into the board. So I went with pale skin and purple coat. Why not? Red metal chestplate, then some generic leather bits. Don't want him as clashy as the wizard. The usual metalwork with white points. Then realised he had a big fur collar, not huge hair. Let's just make that beige too. And white hair with a little blue in the shadows to finish off. The wizard was not a great model for harsh downlighting. Learned a lesson about shapes there. Question is, how do they perform on webcam? Much prettier than raw red plastic at least, and they're reasonably distinct from each other. Sorry, Alfie. I'll paint you one day, I promise. Anyway, let me know what you think, and maybe I'll see you next time.